The book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Shalom. Call Haloyamla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham Rachakodash, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Brakata Rachakodash, Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham Rachakodash. Shalom and double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elders in the Akim and the Akwath of the hopeful elect. Shalom. Just wanted to go into a quick video entitled, people unwrapping gifts while Putin's unwrapping World War III, the World War III update. Today is December 25th, so-called Christmas, which is a wicked folly day. Made a video, my last video, goes into the ancient origins of the wickedness of that. But while everybody else is trying to escape the plagues and keep their head in the sand, trying to maintain these wicked folly, false satanic holidays, right? The governments of the world, the kings and rulers of the world, the Most High is stirring their spirits, and they're moving, they're plowing forward with all of their plans, for World War III to usher in the return of the Messiah and the kingdom of heaven, right? So the nations rising against nations and the kingdoms against kingdoms. That's this World War III that's been going on since earlier this year, with Russia into Ukraine, which is really kickstarting and jumpstarting, this World War III, the many battles. So World War III is already underway, but it's just in the very low stages, Like I bring up the analogy of a video game, right? You play the first stage, and then you build up to the very last stage where you play the big boss. And the big boss here is going to be America, the whore. The main event is going to be the whore, America, Babylon the Great, taking on the bear, Russia, because it's taking down Ukraine right now. And then after they take down Ukraine, then they're going to move west. And what's immediately west, America's allies, known as NATO. And then, that's Germany, Poland, Finland. That's going to be, and then the other European nations. And then they already hating America, NATO, and they're going to hate the whore, their ally, and then they're going to link up with Russia and then shoot nukes on America and join up with Russia, the old Soviet Union, with China and Persia, which is the modern day Iranians, and all of the other Eastern nations over there. So that's where we're headed. And the reason why it hasn't started yet, because it's the Most High slowly bringing down America and making America and the people, evil citizens, feel the pains of all of the plagues. Because, right here it says what famines and what's been going on, quote unquote, food shortages, right? They call it food shortages or food insecurity, but it's a famine, because when you go into your grocery stores, like Walmart and other places, other stores, right? These other big block supermarkets, the shelves, it's patchy, meaning, there's empty spots here and there, and some of them are worse than others. That's because it's a famine in the land. And then the pestilences of the COVID-19 and the different diseases. And then we know that there's earthquakes all over in diverse places that usually would never have an earthquake, that wouldn't have an earthquake. So, and these are all the beginning of sorrows. So the Most High is having allowed these prophecies to be fulfilled as World War III is overlapping. And then now back in March, what happened? With Biden, he had put in the executive order, I think it's like, can't remember the number, but it basically, he put in motion for the law to come into effect where they can start putting in the central bank digital currency, which is going to usher in the digital economy through the digital bank and digital currencies, which is going to be what? You have to wave your hand to be able to buy or sell. And what's going to be in your hand to be able to buy and sell a certain piece of technology according to Revelation 13:16-17. And we know that, and back in March, when Biden signed that bill for it to become effective in December 13th, which just happened a couple weeks ago, which which allowed them to now begin placing the infrastructure of these central bank currencies, these digital currencies. So all of these things have to, and that's how you know that this is all of the Most High, because the World War III isn't going to happen immediately, because all these other prophecies got to come to pass, and chiefly that digital currency that go into your hand to be able to buy and sell, to try every man on the earth. And then the World War III and everything is going to intensify even more, and going to lead up to that World War III. So let's go ahead and get some of this article here. It says, Putin now making preparations to finish Ukraine and take on NATO with massive military buildup that includes nuclear-capable hypersonic nuclear missiles. And so that's what's happening. Everyone is celebrating this folly day today, right? It's Nimrod birthday. And but what's really happening? But while they're doing that, being ignorant to the affair of the reality of society, of what's happening right now and the prophecies, Putin is gearing up, heading into next year, to unwrap World War III, and that's going to usher in those thermonuclear missiles. Says the Russian generals who planned the invasion of Ukraine likely told President Vladimir Putin the operation would be relatively painless and very easy, meaning there wouldn't be many casualties and that Russian forces would quickly reach their objectives. But this is the Most High allowing, because Russia is far more advanced than Ukraine, but it's the Most High doing, allowing it to drag on so that the other prophecies can take place, of the pestilences and the famines and the earthquakes and other natural disasters he's going to bring upon the earth, along with this Arctic blast that's going on right now. And then also the infrastructure of the digital currency to bring in that mark. 10 months later, it's become quite obvious how utterly wrong those generals were. Because it's not the generals, it's not man that understand and can make an assurity of a claim. It's the Most High that directs all man's actions. Not only has Russia failed to reach most objectives, but Ukrainian forces have proven to be much tougher than estimated. And with an influx of Western weapons, primarily from the United States, Russian forces are reeling and have been pushed out of areas they initially captured. So, because we know that the whore of America has been sending billions of dollars over there to monthly to Ukraine to fund them in this war against Russia, and also supplying them with military weapons. So that's what's been going on. So it's been putting everything at a state. It's been stagnating and dragging the war out, dragging out that capture of Ukraine longer than it was that they thought it was going to be. But that's the Most High, just extending the time a little bit more, so that all of the other prophecies can be working at the same time. It says, but Moscow's military misfortunes may be about to change, and soon. That's because the Most High is about to let everything escalate and turn up even more. As winter sets in and the ground in Ukraine becomes hard and frozen, it looks as though Putin is priming his military for a major offensive that reportedly will include two of NATO's newest members, Finland and Sweden. So winter just began around December 21st. So that's what's going on, heading on into winter, and this war is about to turn up, heading into 2023. It says Vladimir Putin has dramatically escalated the Ukraine war again by raising his nuclear combat readiness and bolstering his troops by 350,000 to turn the tide on his failing campaign, raising fears of a global conflict. Well, it's not fears. the hopeful elect, we know that this is all biblical prophecy. So it's not fear. We fear the Most High, not this global conflict. Because if the Most High is with us, then nothing can be against us, and we will be protected and beamed up in those chariots and avoid those thermonuclear missiles. The warmongering despot warned that the Kremlin is Moscow's like basically like the Pentagon for Russia is the Kremlin. You know how America has the Pentagon, their headquarters for their military defense. So the Kremlin is like that for Russia. Warned the Kremlin will invest whatever necessary to increase its nuclear arsenal, and vowed his much-hyped Zircon hypersonic cruise missiles will be available to its forces within weeks. So it's December 25th right now. So in weeks, meaning in 2023, World War III is about to turn up to nuclear potential, and the nuclear missiles are. So it's a very high chance, highly likely that thermonuclear missiles will, fly next year. And I made a video earlier in the year saying that nuclear missiles will fly in your lifetime, and that's about to come to pass. But the elect, the Most High is not going to allow the hopefully elect, the elect, to die with, all of the wicked. So it says new military units will be formed on Russia's western borders to terrorize and scold Finland and Sweden for seeking to join NATO in the face of Kremlin aggression. So Russia is going to is not pleased with Finland and Sweden for linking up with the Western forces instead of linking up and being neutral, at least being neutral, but they joined up with America and Europe. It says the major buildup of forces means that the war will be escalating as well. So it's going down. So both of which should send pause through the ranks of Western and military leaders after weeks of decent gains by Ukrainian forces and a visit to the United States by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to plead for more weapons. And this dude is an actor too. But anyways, the specter of a nuclear conflict. The reason why I say Zelensky is an actor, he was what on I think he was on a reality TV show imitating being the Ukrainian president, and now he's actually the Ukrainian president. So this guy, he's some kind of plant, a hypocrite actor plant, because the word actor goes back to hypocrite. So he's just a puppet that was put into place. The specter of a nuclear conflict has now been raised dramatically as well, given that the Zircon missiles are capable of intercontinental travel and can be tipped with nuclear warheads. So these Zircon missiles are very state-of-the-art, advanced, that can't be stopped by the American missile defense systems. It said, and no missile defenses in American or Western arsenals can stop them either. So, as I made a video a few videos back, stating that full proof that thermonuclear missiles is in the Bible, right? And it goes into these missiles not being able to be stopped. So we'll pull that here in a second, but so I'll leave the link to this article in the description. You guys can read the rest of it if you want. But I'll read this last paragraph. It says, despite those reports, the threat of using nuclear weapons is likely keeping NATO commanders up at night. Now, NATO, that's America and all of its allies. They're scared to death because they know that thermonuclear missiles will be shot and that they can't stop them. And that's why they have all these bunkers to go hide in them. But as biblical prophecy states in Revelation, 16 and 15, that they're going to get pulled out of those holes of the rocks by Yahushua when he returns, the Messiah, and the elect, 144,000 hunters that are fishers now, teaching the elect And then they're going to become hunters and go out there and climb into those bunkers, go dig into those bunkers and pull those wicked elites out so that they can serve their judgment and go into captivity and build up the kingdom of heaven, for Yahweh and Yahweh Shah and the elect of Israel. So it might just be time to let Ukraine go. But, man can try to say whatever he want, but he cannot do anything but what the Most High sets forth. So going to Proverbs 16:9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, directed his steps. So they saying that they should just go ahead and leave Ukraine, let Ukraine get absorbed by Russia, but that's not going to stop Russia. The conflict has already began, and it's the Most High that's directing this whole show. They thinking that they can just, if they can just, if they stop fighting Russia and let them have Ukraine, that it's going to stop there. It's never going to stop until the wicked get put down. Isaiah 13:4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains. Mountains represents nations. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, that's the armies of the other nations. Like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Those are the armies and militaries of all nations on the earth. The Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So that's the Most High. He's the one that's stirring them all up. Because even though they might be afraid or they might get a little worried, but it's the Most High that's riling everything up so that they can take themselves out. So that he can so that these Gentile heathen nations can take themselves out. So when going to in that part in the article where it says, and oh, by the way, where was that at? Right here it says, oh, and by the way, and no missile defenses in American or Western arsenals can stop them either. So going to Joel 2, that was prophesied, and it's coming to pass. It says, neither shall one thrust another. This is when you read up further. It's talking about thermonuclear missiles. So it's going to be it's going to be a lot of missiles shot throughout the earth from Russia and its allies to America. And it's going to be a whole lot, but they won't run into each other because the Most High is directing these missiles to hit Babylon the Great, America. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So, because that's that missile, that's that American Western anti-missile defense system, because they'll try to intercept those missiles coming in, but just say even like it's too many missiles to even stop. But if some of those missiles, if some of America's missile defense systems intercept and hit some of the incoming thermonuclear missiles from Russia and its allies, it won't even hurt it because it's the Most High that put his spirit on those missiles to come down. So it says right here, when they fall upon the sword. So when we get the sword here, weapon, missile, sprout. It says missile, weapon. So that you know right here. So substitute that word. So that word sword is going to a missile. So when the thermonuclear missiles from the east, from the Russians and their allies, come down upon America and fall upon the sword, the missiles of the missiles, the intercepting missiles of America's defense system, they will not be wounded, meaning they won't be destroyed. So, and when they fall upon the missile, they shall not be wounded. Verse 10, the earth shall quake before them. There's no sword that can make the earth have an earthquake. That's the thermonuclear missiles. When they hit the landmass, it's going to cause a earthquake. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, because that's the aftermath. Blocking out the sun. and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So, that's what's coming. World War III, thermonuclear missiles, and yeah, it's because one would ask, why is the Most High Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, allowing that to happen? Because of the pride of the people, their sin. They're celebrating today. Today is December 25th. They're celebrating a very satanic, blasphemous, profane day that's lied and said that it's the Messiah's birthday. But they're not even celebrating. They're not even saying. They're not even praising. They're not worshiping the Messiah. They're spending money and giving gifts to one another instead of praising the Messiah for for fulfilling the most selfless act of love in the history of mankind, which was sacrificing his life. But he sacrificed his life for the elect of Israel in the first go around, but ultimately all Israel. But to be delivered would be the 1/3 elect of Israel. So these people are hypocrites, and they're celebrating. They're sacrificing it to idols, and they're doing wicked things, and they've destroyed, and they sin, and they're wicked. So that's why the Most High is allowing this to happen, because wickedness has polluted the earth, and it's very defiled and filthy, and they got to get cleansed, because there's a lot of bloodshed that has never been accounted for, and it's about to get accounted for now. So I just want to update, with the World War III, everyone is, making merry and drinking their spiked eggnog and celebrating and still trying to creating the giving place to mirth when we're in mourning right now, and patiently and fearfully waiting for the day of the Lord and hope we can have salvation, So, with that being said, hope this video was edifying. So next video I say, also the water to the Rachak Kudash Bahasham Yahushai for another video. To the next video I say, Shalom.